Hello, I'm John Henry. I have been a missionary with YWAM since 1985, and since then I've been around the world several times, leading outreaches, internships, teaching, and in meetings with students and parents and leaders. But never before have I been so excited about a simple approach to world missions than I am today. I want to share with you the missional table. The Missional Table is an 8-week mealtime discussion group that you can lead in your home, your dorm, or even a student center in a university anywhere. Yes, you and a small group that you invite can sit at the table of friendship and fellowship around simple mealtimes. Attached is a slide deck with all the instructions you need, including weekly menus and discussion topics. Each week, the gathering theme and menu will guide you and your group in discussion about the gospel story, which began in Jerusalem and spread to Greece and Rome, to Western Europe and to the Americas, to Asia and to South Africa, and is coming to closure in North Africa and back into the Middle East. Discussion themes will begin with God's call, and then God's character and nature the following week, then his mission, then prayer for nations, then kingdom advance, then it's followed by public and private witness discussion and God's sovereignty, and then along the way, everyone will have opportunity to share their gospel story, including those who aren't even sure about who Jesus is right now. The final week's discussion finishes with how the gospel crosses cultures. Guess what? The way the gospel spread across culture in the first century was at the table. Once the Jewish Christians learned to sit down at the table with Gentiles, Greeks, and Romans, people heard the good news about Jesus Christ. For your first gathering, I've included a menu that includes lamb, bean stew, and unleavened flatbread, and add olives and dates and raisins if you can. But you can adjust your menu as you choose. I chose lamb because it's likely what Jesus and his disciples had at the Last Supper. I want you to picture yourself there with Jesus as he's about to go to the cross to suffer and die for your sin and the sin of the whole world. Think about Jesus. When he walked the earth 2,000 years ago, he did not come to sit on a throne. He sat at tables with sinners. So you can think of this as a sinner dinner, and we all qualify. The table is a great leveler. We all eat. And sharing a meal is a way to honor others and listen to their stories. All of us have sinned, and all are justified through faith in Jesus Christ. While eating, introduce yourselves and include your fondest memory of a table conversation that made an impression on you. It might have been your family table or your grandparents'. It might be the table you share with your friends at school. Share that experience and why it was important to you. And after everyone's introduced, this Bible verse will help start a discussion the first week about God's calling. 2 Chronicles 16:9 says, "For the eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him." At your first meeting, take some time to give everyone the opportunity to respond to a question or two about God's calling. For example, what biblical character or person in history has impressed you? What type of person was it? What was their life like? What did God call them to do? Think of David, Joseph, Ruth, Mary, Esther, Paul, Peter, Nehemiah, and Zacchaeus. Jesus called little Zacchaeus out of a tree to have lunch. That table conversation changed his life forever and a lot of other people's lives. What we might not notice about Zacchaeus is that he was not a part of that crowd. They didn't want him there. So he had to climb a tree to see Jesus. This man, the chief tax collector, was famous because he was hated. So Jesus overlooked all the crowd and chose him to share lunch with. This was social justice ministry. It wasn't ministry with singing and a stage or even preaching. It was lunch. And the injustice and cheating done by this one tax collector ended that day. Who could you invite to lunch? Who might Jesus want to invite to your first gathering? Give that some thought before you meet. Choose an appointed time and place to share a weekly meal. Share your gospel stories with one another and invite neighbors, strangers, and friends to join you. This is the missional table. This is how you reach your community and your world with the good news. I'm so excited to share this simple approach to missional living. Would you do me a favor and let me know if you want to put this simple plan into action? Thanks, and God bless you.